Welcome to the Buttery Males podcast. One of your hosts, Jake Domansky, and with us as always, the other two hosts, Jacob Boyer and Rob Morrissey. What's up, guys? How are you guys doing?
Well, just want to correct you really quick. You're the one returning host and our perpetual guest.
Yeah.
Actually.
Yeah.
I'm just a guest.
I'm okay, Jake. Thanks for asking. How are
Your
you?
Your Honor, I'm just a guest. In case we play this in court at some point, I'm a guest.
Oh, yo, speaking of courts, you sent me this crazy video, Rob, and there was like some fake shit in it, but there was some stuff in it that I was not sure if like the video was fake or not. It was like Jason Momoa was like a witness.
Yeah, for Johnny Depp.
Thing.
Yeah, for Johnny Depp.
I
and
watched
Amber
that,
Heard.
and I didn't even bother looking up if it was real or not.
I think
Yeah,
that
so
he
there was like some parts that could have been real in it, but there's definitely a part where like Jason Momoa makes a joke and like Johnny Depp's lawyer leans into him and is like, he's like I don't know, he like talks about the joke, and it was obviously someone like edited voiceover there, but it was so funny, the whole thing.
There's a part of it where Jason Momoa, who worked with Amber Heard on Aquaman, and hypothetically could be helpful to her in that sense. I don't know if this is real or not, but he like addresses Amber Heard directly, and Amber Heard's lawyer is just like, "Don't talk to her." It's like, what the fuck?
It's my wife, he says.
Yeah.
Also, it's really
yeah.
weird.
Like, why is this so weird right now?
And
yeah,
Amber
man.
Heard's like, no, it's fine.
There's a I haven't checked recently to see how many signatures it has, but there's a petition on like change.org or one of those like vote for this websites where people are calling for her to be fired from Aquaman 2 and replaced with Bruce Campbell.
Be so good.
And
Oh
Bruce,
yeah, I did see that.
and Bruce Campbell responded to that saying, "I'd love to see a script."
Are we Team Johnny or Team Amber? What do we think?
I'm Team Johnny.
Justice for All.
Yep.
You Team Justice for All. That's a great Al Pacino movie.
That's what I mean.
Gene Hackman plays like a really funny alcoholic judge. I'm like, I want to be Team Johnny, but he sucks. Like in general, Johnny Depp sucks, and so does Amber Heard. So
Both little stinkers.
They both
aren't
suck, but I think that he sucks less than she does.
think they should. I think the sentence should be that they have to stay together. Like I think.
Well,
they should be forced.
They've been separated for a while now.
I know. I'm saying
they?
they
Offspring
should be.
were saying about.
They
like,
should be
that whole
forced
situation.
to. They should
move
be
back
forced
in together.
Move back together. Yeah, exactly. Because they're both fucking shit tier humans, and I can't stand either of them.
I would never want to hang out with either of them.
Oh, dude, it's got to be a nightmare doing drugs with Johnny Depp. I can only imagine the lead up is fun, where it's like, oh wow, like he's pulling out like a whole jar of cocaine, and we're like dropping acid, but 15 minutes in, I bet it just sucks. I bet it's one of the worst experiences you can have.
He's like pulling his dick out, guaranteed, and he's just like, "I'm a free man, and I'm Captain Jack Sparrow. How you doing?"
There's
stop
that
mumbling all your words, Johnny.
There's that interview, a Rolling Stone reporter at like I think around the time all the Amber Heard shit was happening, and Johnny Depp was like going broke. A Rolling Stone reporter like stayed with him in his New York City like high-rise apartment for like 4 days, and the article is like Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. If Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas was written by like a third party who wasn't doing drugs at all, it sucks, dude. It sounds like this guy, like Johnny Depp, is one of the most pretentious human beings of all time. I couldn't. I don't think I could spend any amount of time in a room with either of them without shooting myself in the head. Like, not even like that there would be a gun involved, just manifesting a gun and ending
like
it. They're both horrible.
It's like in Videodrome or whatever that Cronenberg movie is, where like the gun grows out of the guy's hand.
Exactly.
You, like,
Yeah,
just start-
exactly. Like It's evolution. If you spend enough time with Johnny Depp or Amber Heard, you will evolve into
Your hands will just turn into guns with one bullet each to kill you, and then the second one goes
and that's
to
the
waste.
next Johnny Depp movie, Edward 44 Hands.
44 caliber hands.
Yeah. Yeah, they both suck. They deserve each other.
Is this like a topical thing? Like I thought.
I'd say it would have been topical a couple of weeks ago. I feel
that's
like,
what I mean.
but,
Like I'm
yeah.
like, is this still going on? This whole thing?
Well,
like,
we can bring it back. I mean, we're bigger than either of them.
She did a post-trial interview recently where she was like,
so funny.
Where basically,
I did see some.
Yeah,
of that.
I didn't watch a lot of it, but the one thing that stood out was it felt very like. I feel like the jury was fair and I accept their results, but then the undertone was like Johnny Depp
I can't
is
afford $8 million in damages.
No,
that's the undertone. Is like I'm shopping at TJ Maxx now.
Well, there's that, but there's also the undertone of she has to be like publicly like yes, it was fair and the jury did their job, but like you can tell like she's like those fuckers like I was treated unfairly by the jury. Like a little bit of that seeps into each answer, and it's really funny.
Yeah, she's like that whole thing was fair. I'm saying that
I think
I would like to get back out there to work again.
I'd like to not get sued by Johnny Depp again.
I think
it has not gone well.
I think
for me.
exact quote was something like the jury was very fair, but there was a lot of evidence that we weren't allowed to show them, or something like that. Which I don't know if there is.
They showed so much evidence.
Yeah.
They showed like dude. I honestly, the thing that's so funny to me is like, I think the UK court said that Johnny Depp had to pay Amber Heard like $5 million, and then the US court said Johnny Depp had to pay like $2 million. But they also said Amber Heard has to pay him like $10 million. So she's still $3 million in the hole with this fucking guy.
Well, Johnny won the initial case, and then he went to countersue, and then he lost. And so, but he won way more money than he had to pay back when he lost, like, what the countersue.
Yeah. The only video of that interview I've seen is I'm trying to remember the setup, but I think it's something to the effect of like here's what it was. Johnny Depp's the interviewer's like, so Johnny Depp's lawyer in the trial said to you that your testimony was your greatest acting performance ever. And Amber Heard responds to that in like the weirdest way possible, and she just goes, oh yeah, the lawyer of the man who convinced the world that he had scissors for hands is saying that.
Oh yeah, that was really funny.
It's truly insane. Like she's at her wit's end. I swear to God, like that video of her shopping in TJ Maxx is one of those things where it's like, oh, you haven't been in a TJ Maxx since you were a kid, huh? Yeah. Like you haven't had to shop discount bins in a long time.
She like went up to the clerk and was like, "Is this store broken? Why is everything so cheap?"
Yeah.
Does nothing work, or can I wear actually anything in here?
Yeah, am I allowed to wear these out in public, or like what's the deal with that?
Is this a gag store?
I got the same feeling the other day, and I have nowhere close to the amount of money that either of them had, but I was in a Ross store, and I was like, man, everything, even the stuff that's not on the
Ross is great.
even the stuff that's not on the clearance shelves is broken and falling apart. There was like
I've gone to Ross and spent like $50 on 3 pairs of shoes, and I was like, this is amazing.
There was like
my favorite part. Have you guys been to the fashion district in Philadelphia?
No,
I don't think so.
I live by the fashion district in Philadelphia. Philadelphia is such a like shit tier city that their fashion district has a Ross Dress for Less. It's like there's not like a single Gucci or Prada store. It's like Ross Dress for Less, Designer Shoe Warehouse, a Primark. It's like
Kmart Bodega. It's like what is that?
It's like we're poor. Like there's no money in this town. Tourists come to the fashion district. You see tourists in the fashion district in Philadelphia scared and confused. Like they didn't know what they should be expecting. And they're All they have is raw stress for less.
Yeah.
Have you guys ever been in stores like the exact opposite of that? Like, I went to Saks Fifth Avenue in Boston once, and like the minimal price there, like the lowest price of something was like $2,000. I just like went in there like wearing like just fucking like the shittiest clothing. Like I didn't even get a shower that day, and I just like looked like ass going in there. And as soon as I went in there, there were like these security guards just like hovering a slight distance away from me.
I'm sure.
Just
Yeah.
the
Well,
whole time.
they run a credit check on you on the way in. And,
Yeah, they wanted to see where I was at as a human being. Actually, like
I
it
grew
was like
up
Minority Report. Thought I
I-
might be committing future crimes.
future Jesus. Yeah, I grew up going to a lot of those stores because my mom had a expensive taste in clothing, and one of my favorite memories is my mom and I grabbed lunch. It was at the King of Prussia Mall. We grabbed lunch at I think this place called like Bordellini's or some shit, and they had these cream sodas. It was like flavored
Love
syrup
cream soda.
in cream. Like that's all it is. It's so good. And
Sounds
I had
so
like
good.
2 or 3 of them, and while my mom was trying on clothes, I went and just shit my absolute 8-year-old brains out in the bathroom. Like I had like 4 cups of heavy cream and strawberry syrup running
Jesus
through me, and
Christ.
it was like a nightmare situation. Especially, I was like too young to like know what to do, like having a public shitstorm go down, and I just remember, like, at a certain point, I don't know how long I was in there, because when you're young, time is like an illusion, but
It's like a flat circle at that point. Yeah.
I was in there long enough that my mom, like, went to the security guard and had them page over the PA for me to come find her, because she just thought I was, like, kidnapped or something. It's like, no, I'm having, like, a sense memory experience that I will never forget for the rest of my fucking life.
Thought you were kidnapped. I was by my fucking asshole.
By-
I
Yeah,
was
exactly.
I was shitting pink milk for 30 minutes, Mom.
I thought that was the inner lining of my intestines, and I remembered I had strawberry syrup.
I vibe with what you
Wow.
just said super hard about time being an illusion. That just unlocked like a core memory. It was like I have this like weird, I don't know why, but like the year 2003 for some reason, like when
that year.
when it was 2003, I just like I feel like that year in particular, I don't know why, but that year lasted really long in my memory. Like I don't know how to describe it in a way that makes sense, but like it felt like for 3 consecutive years, like in my head I was just like, oh, it's 2003, and then people would be like, no, it's 2005.
You got
I don't
Truman
know.
Show.
I got
I think
Truman
that's
Show.
what
Yeah.
Got
I don't
bonked
know.
on the head really hard.
Yeah, I don't how I would have been like what, like 8? Yeah, like 8, and yeah, I'm too old to be having that kind of a illusion about time, but I remember.
Other kids
yeah.
are like playing Crash Bandicoot. You're like,
And what is this
"Guys,
sorcery?
what is
Yeah.
going on with time?
Yeah. Well, at the time I didn't think anything of it, but then like when I was thinking back of my like childhood for whatever reason, I just kept on thinking, oh yeah, that was in 2003, and then I was like, wait, I'm thinking about 2 separate summers and associating both of them with being 2003. I don't know. Like it sounds
I
fucking
feel like
stupid.
all of middle school like really blended hard for me.
Mm-hmm.
Like I feel like 6th, 7th, and 8th grade were all
High
just
school-
like one.
High school
long.
felt very distinct. Like I felt the separation of years in high school, but middle school just felt like one long
Yeah.
fucking depression fest.
I only remember one math teacher from middle school. Like that's how like fucked up I am about it. It's like I had 3 different math teachers. I only remember one.
I think it's all fine with me. I can't remember like things that like that happened on specific dates at all. Like some people are really good with that shit. Like even in years, like I'm like I always have to tie it back to school, or else
Yeah.
I'm like I don't know what happened then. Like, but the only 2 years that really blend for me school wise are probably like 10th and 11th grade, because I'm like I don't know. Seems like
in between.
Yeah, like freshman year is pretty impactful because you're like, oh, there's all these. I'm a little kid, and there's like
all these adults. Yeah.
Then like senior year is like, I don't have to do anything.
Mhm.
Like, I can not show up to school if I don't want to, which turns out is not true. Truance is a real thing. So.
Not Yeah, I had a little bit of that going on too. And,
barely passed
they
because of
never caught
it.
me.
Like they just like let me pass because I was a nice guy.
Yeah. I was one of those like goody two shoes kids. I only ever skipped school once, and it was when I found out a couple of my friends who were a grade or two above me were like, "We're gonna go get Yakos for lunch. Do you want to come with?" And I was like, "Sure." And then I just remember being anxious the entire time that like we were gonna get caught
Like
somehow.
you've done Yakos,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, I've done Yakos.
Yeah.
I've done Yakos. Yeah. Where do I put my mouth?
Yeah.
That you were
Is there a shoddy on
terrified
this hot
that,
dog?
But I just felt the whole time I was like, we're gonna get caught, and I got so nerve wracked from it that I was like, I don't ever want to do that again.
I remember realizing that at our school, in between the gymnasium and the auditorium, there was just a hallway that like led to a door that no one ever watched, and I was like, oh, I can just
right
walk
out.
out this door or whatever I fucking want. Yo, actually, my junior year of high school, you know, it's so funny. My buddy Zach, who listens to the podcast, he had
Zach.
study hall, like 9th period or 10th period. I think 10th period, junior year, and I had English junior year. And I never went to that English class. I went to his study hall for an entire year, and I never once, not even the first fucking day, did I go to that English class. I just went to his study hall
Did it
for the
just
whole
get-
year.
Did it just get dropped from your schedule or something? Because did
No,
the teacher just
I
be like, oh, I guess
never-
he's not supposed to be in this class, and just took you off the roster? Or...
Never heard about it. Moved straight on to 12th grade English the next year, and
It was never mentioned on your report card, like, hey, you haven't
Nope.
done a single fucking assignment
No.
for this English class.
Yeah, never came up. I don't know what happened, and it got to the point where like I had lied so many times to the teachers watching the study hall that they just like either didn't care or believed me that I was supposed to be in that study hall, and they never they never made a single effort to like check me on it, because all it would have taken was them catching me out one time. All they would have had to do was call the front office one single time and be like, hey, where is this kid supposed to be right now? And they just never did.
I remember you lied so much, like when that wolf came around, no one came to help you.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
It was worth it to say.
it's
It was
fine.
worth it to say.
I didn't get hurt. All the villagers did.
All the villagers.
You're like, you know who stays here than me?
The wolf respected
you know
me.
who's
The wolf-
who's tastier than me? All the kids in the English class that I don't go to
Yeah.
anymore.
The wolf was like, it's only after we've lost everything that we're free to do anything, and he went off and ate the whole fucking village. So cool.
Yeah.
All right.
No, I remember that. Yeah. Goddamn. I was like caught by a gym teacher one day when I was leaving, and I was like halfway from the school door and the parking lot of like where my car was, and he like opened up the door and he was like, "Jake Demansky, you get back here right now!" And I was like, at a distance that I thought I could yell like something that wasn't even words, and I thought I'd be like, I basically yelled something like, and like he was like, "What?
Meanwhile,
Back here!"
Meanwhaile, he's
I was
like 10
"Dada,"
feet.
and I
He's
just
like,
kept walking to my car.
Yeah.
meanwhile, he's like
Nothing
10 feet away
happened.
from you.
There was a certain like point in like, especially once you have the car, where it's just like, oh, you can't, like, I know you're not allowed to stop me. like you what, you can't do anything. What are you gonna do? Like, stand in front of my car so I can't drive out of here right now, because I'll fucking kill you,
you'll be
okay?
dead.
Like, I've got nothing to live.
Don't test
I've
the
got nothing
kid.
to live for.
Like, that's stupid.
Yeah, I don't understand death yet, okay? So, I'm 17 and a half.
It can't even happen. That's a thing that just happens in movies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How dumb I am, Teach. Get out of the way.
Yeah, high school.
You see what a lost cause I am? You can't teach someone as dumb as me.
Dude.
Get out of my way. I'm trying to listen to punk music and get out of here.
Yeah, I'm trying to like blast music. I'm trying to like destroy the speakers in my car that my parents bought me on my way out of here, so people think I'm cool.
As you're doing it, you're like, I fucking hate this song. This is kids listen to.
Yeah, my senior year actually, we had like the two lots. We had the soccer lot, and then we had like the tennis lot, and then we had the shed lot. And I got the shed lot parking, but I just parked at the soccer lot the whole year. No one said shit, you know. They didn't give a shit about us at that school. I think the teachers were getting paid too much money.
Teachers made sure like they were good. That was like a big thing I remember because my English class senior year, during the finals, my teacher made it very apparent that she was like, "You can cheat." How she did it was she was like, "All right, like I gotta go copy a lot of stuff, guys. On this table is the rubric, and I gotta go."
Jesus
And then
Christ.
we all were just like, did that really just happen? Okay. And we went up and all of us got 100.
Yeah.
And she was like, yes, I can teach another year.
I definitely had an experience at that school where one of my teachers, like, I failed a test, and one of my teachers had me refill out a Scantron in his class, like, after school, and just kind of, like, he just wrote the answers on the board, like, B, C, D. He just wrote all of them out, and just, like, cool, so, like, once you finish the test, you can leave. And like, just hung out on his phone, and I was like, oh, okay, cool. Got a fucking 100 on the test, and it's like, is it bonus time? Like, what's going on? You trying to get a raise?
Like, don't you know about No Child Left Behind? Like, if our students do bad, we don't get funded shit, and we're a well-funded school, so just put down the right answer, bitch.
Yeah.
Like, that's really what it came down to, I think, with our school. It was like, they knew the game, and they're like, well, we're gonna play it.
Just like Rick Astley.
Yeah, fuck that
Yes.
school for real. And fuck Rick Astley.
No.
Let's talk about something else. Like Rick Astley, I don't want to fucking shame him. He's
Oh,
a fucking-
jeez, Rick!
Let's talk about Rick and Morty.
Oh, dude, Rick and Morty.
No.
So funny. So smart.
There
You know,
is a pretty
Some
topical.
people really do think it's funny and smart, Rob. So just be careful, all right?
Dude, it's hilarious, and it's very intelligent, and my favorite thing recently, I realized that, like, if you look at Rick and Morty season 1, 2, and 3 on IMDb, they have like a 90% critic score and like a 90% audience score. And then there's a divergence season 4 and 5 where they have like a 90% critic score and like a 30% fan score. And it's like, oh yeah, like critics are liars. Like critics are like the teachers at our high school. Like they're just trying to keep their jobs.
100%. That's definitely what it is. And like Rotten Tomatoes, I know we all know this. It doesn't mean shit. Like like it's like something to consider, I guess, but I usually am just like, if I like it, I like it, you know?
Yeah.
Aggregate
People are
score
stupid,
is
so.
just such an issue because like a positive review of a Marvel movie might just be like, oh yeah, it was okay.
Mhm.
And that counts towards the positive score. And yeah, fuck that. Fuck everything, to be honest with you, but especially that.
I might cut what I'm about to say, but we should do an episode on the movie RRR. I don't know if you've seen this or heard of this.
No.
It's a 3-hour-long Indian action movie. The trailer will blow your mind. It's apparently like just one of the coolest fucking movies ever made, and like the reviews are crazy about it. Like people are fanatical about this shit, and it really does look just like amazing.
We'll have to
Like,
give it a review an
yeah,
upcoming episode.
I think it's like the critic scores and like the audience scores are like just top tier, like it's as high as it can go.
Indian cinema is so much stronger than American cinema because Bollywood is still at that phase where there's no
No shame.
yeah, there's no shame. Exactly. Like
It's like South Korean films, and like there's something about that is like, yes, thank you for not, you know, like it's like, you know, there's a in like American films, it's like when someone wants to do something epic now, there's like a little snide comment in the movie that's like breaking the fourth wall, like
Yeah.
you're really gonna do that, and like,
Mhm.
but like South Korean films, Indian films, they're like wholeheartedly without saying it, they're like, yeah, we're gonna fucking do that, hell yeah.
I've talked about it before on this movie. Train to Busan is like
So good.
one of the best movies ever made, and it's a zombie movie. I don't even really care about zombie movies, but that movie, the ending of that movie, I love because it has like 4 endings, and they're like, no, we don't give a shit. Like we're just gonna keep like running it back to the point like. It ends with like the on fire train like coming back around for like one final score, and it's like, what the fuck are we doing right now? But it's top tier. It's so good.
It's really good.
If anyone wants to listen to us talk about Train to Busan for like 40 minutes, go listen to one of the more recent episodes of the Watchlist podcast to be published.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I forgot
Yeah.
we did that. I was like,
been
did
so
we do that on
long.
here or did we do that on yours?
Yeah, we did. That was
podcast?
one of the last ones I published for
yeah.
the watch list before the laziness hiatus.
Yeah,
Oh, dude, it wasn't laziness. There was your production team. Like they. Just
my
fucking,
production team just fucked off and left
seriously
me
it
high
was
and dry.
messed up.
you're dealing with a writer's strike like Hollywood.
A writer's strike for the
podcast.
Yeah,
Jesus
it
Christ.
sucks when that happens.
Yeah.
And you know what? You're gonna be stronger for it because
It'll come back. Better
Yeah,
than ever.
you're-
Fuck my writers team.
I've been saying the word unionize too much at my job, I think, because people are starting to like take notice. I said the word I said we should unionize to one of my managers today, and yeah, they were not like, they immediately like looked down at the ground and like pretended like they weren't there, and it was like yikes, I gotta stop talking about a fucking equality, I guess, because they're gonna get me.
I mean, so who would your manager be included in a move like that, even if you went through with it?
So I think there's enough store associates underneath like the supervisors and the managers that I think I could actually, because what you need like 72% or some shit to like actually get the papers like signed. So I could probably get away with not bringing my managers into it, but the problem is like the corporation I work for, at least in my specific store, is just so hard pressed for like people with backbones. So yeah, I think I think if they thought that I wasn't joking, which I'm not, but I think if they had an inkling that I was actually going to start like printing out petitions, they would probably do something about it.
Yeah. Well, the only reason I ask is because that could have been like you just basically saying like, I'm trying to kick your ass out of here, manager. Like,
I mean, honestly, the manager I was talking to was cool, but yeah, I would fucking kick them. Yeah, for sure. Fuck them.
he's one of our best listeners, so don't say that.
I don't think anyone at my job listens. Thank Christ. I really can't imagine coming in to work one day.
I work at a hospital, and I got like literally everybody in there listening to our podcast.
Yeah.
Patients, doctors, surgeons, nurses.
They play it over the loudspeaker.
Janitors.
Instead of like low like relaxing music for the patients, they just play us talking about
Yeah.
lettuce wraps and Crow of Duty and Milk the Gathering.
Yeah, I know it's nuts. Like, and I love it. Like, sometimes people's last thing they hear is Rob saying
Sucking my own dick.
saying something about how I don't even know, something bad.
Something about how if I was only a little bit more flexible,
It's
I would
really
be
tragic
a lot
because
happier.
some people die listening to the Yahoo Answers segment, and they die before they can hear us answer the question.
Yeah, Rob, you're influencing people's DMT trips on their way out. Like, oh, I see the light. What is that? Is that God sucking himself up? Jeez. Oh, man.
I hope that's what I get to see on my way out.
It's like you're seeing something and you can't quite make it out, and you're like, oh boy.
It's like that
That's
the
not what I wanted to
the
see.
whatever that, I don't know the name for it, but that image of the snake that's like eating its tail in the infinity symbol. It's just God curled into
Oh,
an
yeah.
infinity symbol sucking his own dick.
Fucking his own ass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, God. Don't be mad at us.
Don't cancel me, God, please.
I'm
Don't
worried that
cancel me.
you ever worry that you just become like one of God's children that he makes fun of to his coworkers.
I don't think he has
I
coworkers.
guarantee I'm that.
Angels.
Angels are beneath him, though. Those are they're his employees.
Okay.
If anything, if
I
anything,
am still.
the Angels need to unionize.
I am
against God,
coworkers
is what
with my
they-
manager.
Yeah.
Okay,
The
like
Angels did
the managers
unionize
at my
at one
job are
point.
still my coworkers,
Yeah, but
whether
would-
or not
but
they
would
hold
you-
dominion over
But
me.
would you call yourself a coworker with the CEO of Lowe's?
Yes.
I don't know that I agree, think the same way as you.
I would absolutely say that the same person signs my check as his check, being him. So yeah, we're coworkers. I don't fucking know.
I guess it gets a little different when you call into the idea of, okay, yes, I created everything that is in this universe, and you exist to appear to people as they're dying. I literally created you out of nothing, but we're coworkers. Like, that doesn't. I feel like that.
Well, I'm not an angel.
I'm using the God analogy. I think
that
that
was
even
just
if
so funny.
even
Like,
if
I'm a
you're
customer. No, in
Yeah.
this analogy, I'm a customer in the store. Okay, the
Yeah.
angels and God are coworkers. I'm an irate customer yelling at
agree
them
with
for
you.
not letting me in the front doors because I don't have a mask on.
Well, just going back, the Angels did unionize, didn't they? And then
I think they tried,
well,
and
Lucifer,
then
Cast into hell.
Lucifer
they
tried to
they
unionize.
tried.
Well, no, exactly one of them tried to unionize, and then
he got a
they
bunch of them. He
and
got
they were like,
maybe
well,
half,
they were
maybe
like,
more, I don't know.
they were like, well, yeah, that's exactly the point. Is that what Rob just said? You need 72% to unionize, and he got half. So
Oh,
that's why
that
he was
was
cast into hell.
Lucifer's-
Is he didn't get that
Yeah,
extra
his
12% that
greatest
he needed?
flaw.
Yeah.
Yeah, because fucking St. Michael's a scab, a
Yeah.
shitty scab loser.
There's a really great scene, because we talked about this show before. It reminded me of it, but Lucifer on Netflix, where the one where the devil's like, I'm done being king of hell. I'm gonna go fuck off to Los
Gonna
Angeles
rock
and do
on.
what I want. But there's
I'm
without
gonna hang out in the Viper room.
without spoiling too much, there's one of the main plot points in season 5 is that God decides that he doesn't want to be God anymore, and he's gonna fuck off to some other universe to just retire. So then he's like, you guys will figure out, like he says to the angels, you guys will figure out who will replace me. And Lucifer puts his like, hey, I think I'd be, and he's at this point has gone through a lot. He's not like I'm gonna torture everybody, and he's gone through a lot of development, but the other angels haven't seen that. So they're like, yeah, no, we're not gonna let the angsty teenage brat rule all of creation. So there's this whole episode where he's like going to each one of them and like trying to make his case of like as to why he's changed and why he would be a good god. And then it finally comes down to like, it's like they're gonna the rest of the angels have picked like who they want to take over, and then Lucifer shows up and he makes his case to all of them one last time, and the one I don't know who it was, but like the one who was the most vehemently against him being God gets up and does this speech where he's like, we all have seen what he was like back in the day, and he's changed, and I truly believe he would be good, and for that reason, I'm with him. And then none of the other angels, like it's that classic movie moment where like everyone's like, yeah, you know what, and they get up and they go to the other side, but they're like, no, you're fucking nuts, like, and Lucifer's like, oh, I expected more of you to get wrapped up in that.
Yeah, it's like.
Don't you remember he deceived?
Yeah, that's basically the point. They're like, yeah, great that you like him now, but you're forgetting the point where he led a rebellion against all of us to overthrow heaven.
But he helped a lady cross the street recently.
It's like that. Lucifer is a very good show. I think everyone should, even though I just spoiled most of the second to last season.
That's the last episode.
Yeah. Well, no, that was that's the second to last season. There's still a whole other season of shit after that, but that's a big plot point. Very good show though. But speaking of things we watch, I know
it's
that.
Not.
Speaking of things that we watch. I think you guys said that you had some stuff that you wanted to say about Internet Rabbit Hole. Didn't you?
Yeah, maybe we'll do this and maybe we close it up.
Yeah, maybe we would just close it up. No.
Rob, you son of a bitch! Don't you? Come on.
Nailed it. So yeah, Jake and I recently have been.
Problems.
Yeah, so I don't know necessarily what's caused his spiral, but I know I've been just like, I'm so despondent sometimes with the reality that I just find myself doom scrolling on Instagram for hours on end, and apparently so does Jake.
A lot of hours. Like so, I'm not even kidding. Sometimes 4 or 5 hours.
Last night I was trying to go to bed at like 11:30. I didn't get to bed till like 2:30, and it was so funny because at like 1:30 I started getting messages from Jake sharing me videos. I was like,
I was gonna say
I'm not alone in this hell.
I've been on the outside. I've only been hearing about this secondhand, but Jake and I were in another voice chat a few days ago. Rob, the three of us were in it with a couple other friends of ours, and then Rob left at some point, and then just started sending Jake memes for like 2 hours after he left the voice chat.
I left without saying anything.
Yeah, you left without saying anything, and then Jake was like, are you going to come back? And then you just responded with more
Yeah, you got no answer.
And I was like, this is kind of hilarious to look at this on the outside.
I felt bad too because I didn't realize how much. That's another thing about this. You don't realize how much time goes by, and it eats the fuck out of your time. Like, I was in that party with you, Jacob, for a long time after, and
it was like maybe another like hour and a half or so, at least. Me
just laughing insanely at all this dumb shit, like, and you were just hearing me. I bet just laughing,
just
and saying,
laughing
oh my
to
God,
yourself.
That's so crazy, so crazy, like over and over again, but. My like algorithm, because of this. Well, let me preface this by saying, I've been doing this for like since the pandemic started, but I would only be on at for 30 minutes at a time. I don't know what happened in the past like 3 or 4 months, but I am like fully wrapped in this shit in a really unhealthy way now. Or like I said, like 4 hours will go by when I'm like in bed, just trying to go to sleep, and then I just hop on my phone on Instagram. Like, algorithm that's like been cultivated from the things I like and everything is just a mix of pure like insane violence and like the most random like funny fucking things ever. And it just does like look like I'm an insane person if someone was to peek in on some of that shit. It's either like car crashes or like somebody I don't know, just being fucking insane. It's not good. But
my doom scrolling is almost always like sad clips from movies that have had more sad music placed over top of them. like the execution scene in the Green Mile where it already has like a sad score underneath it, and then someone will throw like "See You Again" by Charlie Puth over top of that,
So
or
funny.
some shit. And they're not doing it ironically. They're doing it because they're like, no, this scene is missing something, and I can add to it. Like, it's either that or like weird. I watch a lot of like cooking stuff on YouTube, so I get like weird like YouTube shorts, like recipe videos and all that. There's one guy that I really like that I discovered recently named Quook. I don't know what nationality he's from, but somewhere in Europe. And he does a thing where he goes through and he like rates every country's like national dish, or like rating different types of breakfasts around the world. That's how I found out about him, was the breakfasts one. And he was like, we're gonna try a typical Dutch breakfast, and I was disgusted at first, but then I kind of wanted to try it. It was a piece of sourdough toast with a bunch of butter and chocolate sprinkles.
Nice.
Like, and I was like, that doesn't look good, and he didn't rate it high. But and then I was like, I kind of want to try that. That that looks interesting.
Do sprinkles like really have a deep impact for you guys whenever you eat them?
No.
I feel like they
No.
don't even have a flavor.
No,
I couldn't give a shit about sprinkles.
Same.
it's just a little extra
it's a visual
punch of.
stimulation.
It's a little
Yeah.
extra punch of sugar, which actually in that instance, then you that might be where you would taste the sprinkles, because the sugar content in buttered toast is not on par with ice cream. So maybe that's like the one
Yeah.
time you would taste the sprinkles.
It sounds like good. I'd try that, I guess. It just makes me think you could do it better, like right away. Like, why not butter and Nutella or something
Yeah.
on it?
Yeah.
Like, it just sounds like that's so unhealthy, but sounds amazing.
There's a really weird combination that I read in a book when I was younger. I was like, that can't be good, and then I tried it, and I was like, oh no, this is actually not that bad. And it was toast with, you put peanut butter on one side, and then you put one scrambled egg on the other side, and then you eat that as a sandwich. And it's
Whoa.
actually not that bad. It's not the most like mind-blowing thing I've ever had, but it wasn't shit tier like I was expecting it to be.
People put like cheddar cheese on their apple pies. Have you ever had that?
That doesn't make any sense to me. Like,
It's
that
apparently
just looks
really
strange. Yeah.
Like it's the whole sweet and savory thing, you know, like it's sweet and salty, I guess. Supposed to be
Yeah.
good. I've never tried it, but I've had like, you know, those cheeses that have like, you know, it's like the brie cheeses with like cranberry,
Like jelly
Yeah.
and stuff, yeah.
yeah, shit like that, and that's always really good.
Have you guys ever taken a stick of butter and a Hershey's bar and just melted them in a bowl and whipped it together and eaten it with a spoon?
No.
It's,
No,
it's
I have
really
not.
good. It's really good.
I would
It does
die
sound
from
good,
that,
but
like,
I-
I'm
yeah.
very
Oh,
unhealthy.
I feel like
so,
my
you know,
arteries would instantly seal up as I was
Yeah.
eating.
prevailing theory in my life is that I died at some point and went to hell, and this is just hell. And yeah, I'm pretty sure that was the moment that
That's
killed
when you
me.
And we're somehow just delusions that you have whilst in hell to deal
Oh yeah,
with
you're
the fact
phantoms.
that you're
Like, you guys aren't real.
Not
Like
the
you're
worst
shadow
phantoms
people.
in your hell, though. You
No,
have
no, no, no. There's levels. You guys are like some of the phantoms that you know, the torture that you guys impose on me is that for an hour and a half every week I get to like feel some kind of joy and excitement, and then you go away.
That's a huge compliment.
And leave me with all the other fucking shadow people to deal with. Yeah,
The other phantoms are like legitimate terrors, like shadow people that are tearing Rob apart, and he just regenerates
But then
the next day.
but we just look like normal people, like, but we're like Dementor sucking your happiness out of you an hour and a half at a
it's
time.
a juxtaposition
we're just
thing.
nice.
It's a juxtaposition thing where like most of my life is hell with demons surrounding me at all times fucking with me, and then you guys come along, also demons, but you guys are just like super cool to me.
Yeah, we could like, you know, I wouldn't like take you for your money or anything. Like we could hang out even outside of hell, and like we get along just fine. But I'd probably be better than some of the humans and not in hell. You know what I mean? This scenario.
But yeah, so doom scrolling's cool, and Jake and I, it's so funny because like Jake and I will send some of the best shit we find because once you click on a video in Instagram, you can just scroll endlessly for like you don't even for hours. It will just keep giving you new videos. You don't ever have to like get away from the one you're watching to like get new ones. And the funny thing is like Jake and our algorithms have synced up to the point that like you send me shit that I've seen like 4 times already, and I'm sure I send you shit that you have seen already.
It's like 2 out of 4 videos you send me, I've definitely seen those 2. And then like the other 2, I'm like, oh, okay, and it's probably the same way back and forth. But it's so crazy. Like sometimes I like determine how my day is going to go depending on like what algorithm pocket I fall into right in the morning.
Yeah.
Like, if it's like a pocket where it's like every video has been fucking on point and I'm loving it, I'm like, oh, today is like really good.
Yeah.
Today in particular, I like woke up and like the videos I was watching weren't like really anything. Like I was like, this just all these kind of suck or they're like subpar. And I just was like, this is determining like my emotional level for the day. Like today is just going to be like really bland. And it kind of was.
There's some wild shit on Instagram too, because we got shadow banned off of Instagram on our first Instagram account. That's why we switched to the second Instagram account and had Jake start running it. Cause like I guess the shit I tried to post was like too fucking wild. But like you do enough scrolling on Instagram and you'll see people die. Like,
it makes you wonder like the videos you're seeing. It's like, oh well, how long has this been up and how long does it have left on Instagram?
Yeah. One of the funnier
surprising.
Things, one of the funnier things Jake texted me after a video of this kid getting absolutely wrecked. I can't remember what happened, but the kid was like sticking his head out of a car window to like feed a buffalo.
Jesus Christ.
And
I already know where this is going.
The buffalo just like domes this kid with its horn, and
it's fucking insane.
Jake sent that to me, and then he was Jake was like, yeah, sometimes I just like to go through videos like this and post yeah, he didn't make it comment.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, like I'll say it like I know like the behind the scenes of the video. Like I'll do that pretty often. There are like some where like people do shit with like their pets where like they like their dog will like be making a funny noise or something and they'll record it and be like, isn't this so weird my dog does this? And I'll like comment like, it was like just after this video actually that dog attacked the shit out of her owner and like she's brutally scarred.
She's in a horrible medically induced coma from all the damage it did. Sometimes
people are like, wait, what, really? Like, no,
not super related to doom scrolling, but like since we're talking about the algorithm and Instagram and all that, one thing that we talked about on the YouTube channel, it's people hop on over and you can see a video exclusive, is we talked about Indian Fact Genius. It's an Instagram account that shares some of the most amazing facts ever, but they haven't posted anything in a few months, but then recently, a day or two ago, when I was just kind of swiping through like my Instagram like stories and the shorts and all that I get recommended in the algorithm, Indian Fact Genius's stories popped up. They had posted like 4 or 5 back-to-back stories posts that were all a little troubling. It was all stuff about like lo-fi lo-fi hip hop with like sad like imagery and like crying animations and all that. But then the first thing that they led with, I'll share this right now to the forum, and you guys like this like made me laugh, but at the same time, I was starting to feel Rob's sense of like worry, like someone needs to check in on this person, like Robbie I think says in the the video part. Like they posted that. I just put it in the forum. That was that's what went before all of the like sad lo-fi hip hop depression fest. And
Oh yeah.
So for listeners who aren't watching the video version of this, it's a crude animation of Garfield.
Yeah.
And it's a line drawn right down the middle of his face, and one side is him wearing sunglasses, and the other side is him crying, and it says, "I have two sides, two spelled with as T-O-O, and one is bawling, B-A-L-L-I-N-G. That's the one with the shades, and the other is bawling, B-A-W-L-I-N-G. He's crying.
And since then, I've been recommended a lot of like sad lo-fi hip hop stuff, but also just like those like verbose memes where like you'll start off with an image, and then the image will get progressively like more and more poorly drawn as it goes down. But I love that shit.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's a nightmare, I feel like, honestly. Like, I love it, because sometimes the videos I'm seeing, I'm like, maybe this is just the future of comedy. Like, this is the true, like, gold tier shit.
Right.
It's better than, anything SNL will do, that's for sure. But just, like, getting caught in that doom scroll or that rabbit hole is, like, the time suck is unreal. Like, I was talking to another friend of mine about it. He never heard the term doom scrolling before.
I had never heard it until you guys had mentioned it the other day.
Yeah, like, well, I told him, like, what it was, and he was like, yeah, he's like, this is why I delete my Instagram account and then come back every now and then. No. It's like, because he's like, sometimes I'll get up in the middle of the night at, like, 1:30 in the morning, go to the bathroom, get on my phone because I don't feel like going back to sleep quite yet, and then it's 5:30 in the morning, and I have to be up for work.
Oh yeah, like, real quick. It happens real quick.
Lose time. It's like during that point, it's like being abducted by aliens or something. Maybe this doom scrolling. This is a conspiracy theory. It's just helping out the aliens, man.
It makes you wonder on like some level what what started the algorithm recommending you this shit. Like what was the gateway video that made you that was like, oh, this guy wants to see more of a buffalo headbutting a small child. Like,
I just like seeing people crash and stuff, and I'd say like where that came from was just being a kid obsessed with Jackass, like Margera shit, and like but because it's not all that, it's like some shit is like I really wish I didn't see that. Like sometimes it's like people driving insanely recklessly, and then they just like. Someone breaks in front of them, so they veer off to the right, like where it's not even a lane. It's like just the shoulder. It's just a shoulder, and then there's like a car there parked, and they just crash into the fucking back of someone's car. It's like Jesus, like someone really could have fucking died there. Like I don't want to see that.
YouTube will randomly recommend me like car crash stuff sometimes, but then I'll sometimes fall down that rabbit hole, and then I'll have a car problem, and I'll just be like, well, it's karma. I try to avoid shit like that because I don't know. I'm like,
listen, I've been watching Russian car crash videos since I was 13 years old, and I'm doing okay.
Crash your car a few times though, right?
Listen, they can't get you if you drive faster. That's the mistake everyone makes. Man. Yeah, you gotta go faster. That's what fucking
go fast.
I when I first got my car in high school, like a month after I got my car, this lady hit me, and I remember one of my mom's friends, like my mom was pissed, even though it wasn't my fault, couldn't have been further from my fault. My mom would not let go of this idea that I like caused it somehow, and even though she understood that this old lady hit me, and my mom's friend just like, pulled me aside one day and was like, let me give you some advice. Sometimes you see an accident coming and your first inclination is to slam on the brakes. But more often than not, it's better to jam on the gas. What the fuck? Like, so that's my mentality nowadays.
You would not be dealing with this shit from your mom right now if you were not alive from this car wreck.
The stress you're putting your mom through, maybe just end it all in one big stress for her.
Yeah,
Your
I think
funeral.
everyone would be a lot happier if you had just.
I got
Gone
the opposite of that. Like I never drove when I was in. I didn't learn how to drive until I was in college. But when I had my first major accident, my parents were very like, "Oh my God, yeah, we'll help any way we can. We'll pay to have it towed, the wreck towed away. We'll like help you find a new car, like all this stuff." But like anytime there, like prior to that, if there was like even the smallest thing I would do that was like an inconvenience to them, they would act like how like Rob is describing his mom would go off. So it was a really weird contrast.
I guess I was lucky because every time I crashed, like my parents were like, "Jesus, that was fucking horrible." Like every time I crashed a car, like I totaled my car and like it was fucked up every time. Like so much that even if I'm sure they had some shit they wanted to tell me, they're probably just like, "Yeah, he's been through enough, that guy."
Yeah.
For real.
Yeah. Last time I crashed, like it was just like one of those situations where it was like I know it was my fault, but there was some weird shit going on that like it was like it's just not how traffic should be. Like in a way, like I was like, it was my fault, but people are so dumb, you know. Like
Everyone was driving the wrong way on the one-way street, but you.
No, like
I just love the way you described
like
that.
explanation. Brief explanation. I was like definitely road raging, so I am at fault. There's no doubt. And I was like leaving work. I was just like pissed off. I had a shitty day at work, and I saw way up ahead of me the light turned green. So there was like, 4-car backed up at the red light turned green. So I started going.
Yeah.
And I was like, there's a shit ton of time for, like me to get to them. And I just started speeding up, and I was looking into the right lane to see if I could. I was in a 2-lane road, and I was like trying to see if I could move over to the right lane.
Yeah.
And, like next thing, I like look back up, and traffic didn't move at all. And I like look back up, and the car was right where it was again, and I just like slammed on my brakes and smashed into the back. And their car, funny enough, like 0 damage, in my car absolutely totaled, and I wasn't wearing my seatbelt, and I smashed my head into the windshield so hard. And I was like, yep, this sucked. And yeah, that concussion, it was fucked up. But it was totally my fault. But I was also, when I got out of the car, I was like, what the fuck? Why did no one go? Like, it's one of those green means go, people.
The way that you worded that when you were like, traffic was not the way it should be. Like the same. I had a flashback to us talking about The Color Out of Space, and you quoted the one line in the book where it's like, the trees were moving even though there was no wind. Like that's the same vibe I get off of the traffic wasn't what it should be.
Yeah,
like
that's what I told the officer. I was like, "There's a cosmic horror going
on."
I
was gonna say like
there's a cosmic horror going on.
I just imagine you're like driving like down like Main Street Emmaus or something like that, and then the sky turns like red, and the road somehow it like turns into like a Mobius strip that never ends, and you're like,
I saw a rabbit jump, and it jumped a little too long.
And it jumped too far. I love that.
Oh God, what was I gonna? Oh yeah, but it was weird because the lady I hit, like, she was someone my age, and she was like super sketchy. Like I got out of the car and I apologized. I was like, "Is everyone all right? Are you okay?" Like I fucked up basically, and she was like, "Yeah, I'm fine." And she looked at her car and she was like, "There's no damage. All right, do you mind if I just leave right now?" And I was like,
"What the fuck?"
Yeah.
I was like, I can't hold you, but like you should.
You're
stay,
like, don't you get it?
Yep.
Like I'm fucked here. Like
that's like what it was. And like, I was like, "Can I get like your insurance or whatever?" And she's like, I give you my cell phone number." I was like,
so I can
this
never
isn't
call
how I
you
met
again.
your mother.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
all of a sudden you're on the phone with like Arby's. Name any other place than her fucking phone.
My first car wreck I was ever in, the same one I mentioned earlier, it was because I was leaving my mom's house, to go back to where I lived in Kutztown at the time. And I was on 412, and I was getting on that long loop to go on to 78, and if this should not have happened, like completely, like no one was on the road except for me and one other guy, and
This is one of those cosmic horror situations.
it was a cosmic horror situation, yeah. And the guy was like swerving, like he was drunk driving, basically. I'll cut to the chase. He was driving drunk, and I maybe was a little too close to him, but he just full stop slammed on his brakes in the middle of 78, and then I ran into him from behind is what happened, and then my car got totaled. The back of his car got crushed in a little bit. But because it was my first wreck, I had never, and I was like full of like, oh my god, my car is ruined. What am I gonna do? How am I gonna get home? I have no way to get. I'm riding off all that panic that I just kind of was like, I don't know. I was too overwhelmed to think rationally of like, okay, well he's drunk, so it's, even though I ran into him, if I say that to the cop, it'll be his fault. And I honestly, like, I don't remember anything after, like, me getting out of the car to see if he was okay. Like, from what I have a police report, so I know that we called the police and they came out and did a whole thing, but I think I just, like, blacked that whole thing out from, like, stress. But apparently I never told the cop that he was driving drunk, and the cop was like, okay, well, just let your insurance companies sort it out. And I think, like, to that guy's credit, I think he was thankful enough that I didn't say anything, that he wasn't, like, gonna try and fuck me with insurance. And, like, insurance stepped in, took care of everything.
Isn't that not up to him?
Well,
isn't the insurance company gonna do what they're, like, just gonna do?
Well, yeah, but I think that, like, I don't know, like, the fact that I didn't rat him out, I guess, was, like, what led him to not pull what that lady did to you. Does that make sense?
His insurance company was like, that was a pretty cool move.
Yeah. Like, well, what happened was, it was funny because then he reversed that later and tried to insist that I somehow caused front-end damage to his car, even though I hit him from behind. What? So, and then both
was he still drunk?
Exactly, yeah, no, because I called him later and I was like, hey, so I've talked to my insurance, your insurance, like, our insurance have talked to each other, and this is what the deal is, like, I guess I don't have to deal with you anymore. And then the guy was like, well, what about the front end damage you caused? And I was like, how did I cause front end damage? I hit your trunk. How did I cause front end damage? And he was like, well, you pushed me into another car. And I was like, we were the only two people. This was like 11:30 at night on 78. No one was
like,
out.
Wait a second.
Yeah.
Wow.
Was a cosmic horror.
It was yeah, Cthulhu popped up out of the road and like smacked into the front of his car.
Just like the idea of, like, getting a ticket from the parking authority and being like, hold on, this is a cosmic horror situation.
This is a cosmic horror situation.
Don't write the ticket.
Nobody's at fault.
Obviously that.
Yeah. This is obviously outside of everyone's realm of understanding and control. We can't fine you or put blame on anyone.
You're being influenced by an invisible god.
Yeah.
Calm down.
But yeah, doom scrolling is
crazy though.
Doom scrolling is crazy.
Pull that shit.
Yeah, I mean,
doom scrolling, guys.
Yeah, doom scrolling. Yeah, all that is to say, yeah, car crashes, car crash videos. What a wild ride, literally and figuratively.
Yeah, there's a lot of them out there.
Do we want to wrap up on an r/Robert, or do we ask Robert, or no?
We have? What do we have?
We have a couple. Well, here's what we can do. Is I feel like the ones that we have, we can burn through pretty quick. But if Rob, you want to look up some actual ones, because I feel like I don't know, how are we on time? We're like, what, an hour in?
Yeah. We should probably. I'm gonna cut all this, but we can.
You can start. Okay, well, yeah, I think
we can do some of this.
Yeah, we can do the ones that we have on our Discord, and then Rob, if you want to look up maybe one or two like actual ones that we've traditionally done, and we can end on that.
Yeah.
But so yeah,
if you want to do that.
Yeah, I mean whatever works. Anyone who's not in our Discord, and if you're not in our Discord, you should be join the Buttery Mail Discord. We have a channel called r/AskRobert where you can ask us questions that we will answer on the podcast. Now, all of these questions come in from either Dr. Spin or somebody named Mr. Blue Sky, so not a lot has been posted in there as of yet, but we'll go through this and we'll see if we can answer some of these questions. So first up, Dr. Spin wants to know, and I'm assuming this is directed at Rob.
You should save that for last. You should save that for
Okay.
last.
All right, we'll come back to that. Mr. Blue Sky first up wants to know who would win in a fight: three alpacas or 3 llamas?
Hold on. This one is a little like, I don't know. Are the 3 alpacas fighting each other?
The 3
And
alpacas.
the 3
I
llamas
think it's
fighting each other?
I think it's a
Or is it
3v.
3v3.
I think it's a 3v3 with alpacas on one side and llamas on the other. I would say alpacas because alpacas can spit. I don't think llamas spit.
Do llamas not spit? I thought they did.
I think alpacas are the ones that can like hawk loogies at you.
Fuck,
as
they look
a
so much
self-defense.
like each other. It's crazy.
Yeah.
You know, if it was me, I would say llamas. It looks like they have a bigger snout on them. They look less
Yeah.
friendly, and carry
Well-
switchblades at all times.
Well, also what I just looked up was apparently alpacas are significantly smaller than llamas, so llamas might have the height and weight advantage,
and it's the
Right.
switchblade advantage.
and the
that's usually
switchblade
gonna-
advantage as well. Yeah,
Wait, alpacas carry assault rifles.
assault rifles. Then yeah, I guess yeah. I think the alpacas win that. The
Well, Rob, what do
llamas-
you think?
llamas
This is
brought a knife to a
//
gun.
Ask Robert.
Llamas
Wait,
brought a knife to a gunfight.
So the llamas and alpacas are fighting?
Yeah,
Yeah.
3 llamas versus 3 alpacas is what I'm
Fight to the
assuming the
death.
question is.
I think that the alpacas have the high ground probably, and
Why?
well, I mean,
Llamas are bigger.
yeah, but alpacas are like up on mountains.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
so boom.
It's like episode 3 all over again.
Yeah.
Okay. Get it.
All right.
Okay.
I have the high ground. Don't try it.
Dr. Spin wants to know who would win in the fight, a dragon or a nuclear-powered tunnel borer?
Oh wow.
I think a dragon.
Yeah,
This one's for
dragon.
Dr. Spin. What's the difference?
I'm gonna go with the dragon. I think, but under the caveat of I think that the dragon would blow up the tunnel borer and then they would both die in the ensuing nuclear blast.
in the tunnel, yeah. I would say definitely the dragon, but if you want better insight on this, check out episode 85, I think, Conspiracy Convention with Dr. Spin.
I'm going to go with dragons as well.
All right. Another one from Mr. Blue Sky. Why is it that society tells us that we can't eat cookie dough because raw egg is bad, but mix up a raw egg with pepper, call it Caesar dressing, and no one bats an eye?
Fuck.
Well, Caesar dressing, I think, also has like anchovies and shit in it, so I think
Yeah, it
Caesar
does.
dressing is fucking gross either way. So, and they now have developed a form of cookie dough that tastes exactly the same that doesn't have raw eggs in it. So,
No, it doesn't taste exactly. There's no edible cookie dough that tastes as good as real cookie dough, and I also I don't believe that shit. As a person who has
oh yeah, you eat like only eggs as of late.
well no, I was gonna say I've definitely bought like I think when my dad died, I bought one of those like big fucking containers of cookie dough, the like 5-pound containers of cookie dough. I definitely ate like half of it in one sitting, and yeah, it felt fine. Nothing bad happened to me. Again,
So-
this could be hell. How would I know?
Yeah, it always could be hell. That's something to consider. But I just want to point out to Mr. Blue Sky that now there's lemon juice in a Caesar dressing, and you know you can cook things with
I was gonna
just
say,
citrus
yeah.
in general. So
A
Guy just
classic
say-
ceviche.
yep, it's a ceviche. So there you go. There's like, you're wrong there, bud. But
You get
I'm
fucked,
glad you're
basically.
listening. I'm glad you're listening. I like you.
Mr. Blue.
I like
sorry.
to I like to douse cookie dough in lemon juice to cook it.
You like to douse
Say-
cookie dough with Caesar dressing to cook it.
Yeah. It works really well. It works just like an oven. Some people say it works better than an oven, actually.
Yeah, I think a lot of people do. Anyway, what's the
A
next
lot of people
question?
say Mr. Blue Sky has
Lots of people are talking about it, okay? Lots of people are talking about it right now.
Oh.
Mr. Blue Sky has one more question, and then we have 2 questions from Dr. Spin that I think are only directed at Rob. But Mr. Blue Sky says, "All right, got a complex one for you. If 2 people that were born without legs have a baby, would this baby have legs? And if it did, and you hypothetically cut off said baby's legs and raise it as such, and then arrange a marriage with another person who for some reason or another has no legs, and then they have a kid, would it have legs? How many generations would it have to have their legs removed for babies to simply be born legless?" I think that at least the first generation would have legs, because it's that gene is like the legs were cut off, but the gene to grow legs is still there. So
Wouldn't they have legs for like a really long time?
I think I'm leaning more towards that. I don't
I think in the Discord I said 5 generations. I'm pretty sure evolution's a quick thing. Like evolution happens really fast.
It's not that fast.
Yeah. So I would say like 5 generations. If you wanted to have a bunch of kids that are missing any body part, 5 generations.
I think it takes way longer than 5 generations. I would say 6
No.
generations.
Wrong.
6 generations.
Way longer. I think it takes like a lot, leagues and leagues longer.
And then finally, I'm assuming that these 2 questions are directed at Rob. Dr. Spin wants to know, where's your fire cape? 99 fire making when?
God damn. Yeah, all right.
You don't even have days.
I have one for you guys before we wrap. I think
You're
it's
not
actually
even gonna answer that.
no.
Well, then, really quick, anyone who's in the Discord and anyone listening, join the Discord and then ask us a question in our r/AskRobert channel. And
It's
if
a
you
party
have
in here. It's like basically a meme channel.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Discord, so
you could
and
get your question on a future
welcome
episode
all.
of the show.
If you like
Don't-
doom scrolling.
If you like doom scrolling, hop on in our Discord.
Yeah, so here I got one for I maybe got 2, but it depends on how fast we get through this first one. If you could download a skill to your brain like in the Matrix, but you can only do it once, what skill would you like to master?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Yeah, that is a really good question.
Ow. I guess I'd. Huh.
I would like to download self-discipline.
Yeah,
Like,
I could get behind that.
I feel like if I had any amount of self-discipline, I would be killing it. I would be like top tier. I'd be thin and beautiful and have money and I just can't get behind any decision that will like better my life long term. It's really hard for me.
That answer is like asking with one of your 3 wishes a genie for more wishes, which is pretty smart.
Yeah, I don't. I
They
want
would
to
do
say
that too. I think that's a smart way to go about it.
I want to say I would agree wholeheartedly with that, but I'm trying to think of something else for the sake of keeping the answers varied. I guess just the ability to be happy in general.
Oh my fucking god.
Like, I feel like if I didn't have depression, I would be able to do so much more with my
I thought
life.
one of you guys were gonna be like
Yeah.
parasailing or something, but no, like we're all such sad boys. It's crazy.
I'd like to learn how to get this gun out of my fucking mouth.
Jesus
There's fun sidetrack to like. I like you reminded me that I was playing Jackbox with a couple friends in another Discord, and we were doing the T-shirt one where you have to like draw a bunch of pictures, write a bunch of phrases, and then make a T-shirt out of it. There was one that I made where it was a penguin, like a photorealistic penguin. I didn't make the drawing. I just put the picture and the phrase together. It was like a photorealistic penguin with a big like heart drawn on its chest and like some snowflakes and shit behind it. And then the caption was "Sad Boy Hours" underneath it, and I was like, "Oh man, that's such a funny design." And then when it came time to vote, everyone was like, "Oh, who drew that penguin? That's really good." Nobody in our group admitted to drawing that penguin, so I don't know where that penguin came from. But I bought that shirt, and I'll wear it on an upcoming record. So anyone who's listening, you can come see my sad boy personified on a mysterious penguin.
Oh, I got a work story really quick. Fuck this other question. I got a work story really quick. There is
well, did Jake answer? I don't. I cut him off.
Yeah, I answered. Yep.
What'd you answer?
Parasailing.
I thought it was the discipline thing, but then I said I wish I knew how to get this gun out of my mouth.
Okay, yeah, that counts, I guess.
That
counts. It's a wonder that you're still able to talk with the gun in your mouth. You're able to perfectly articulate.
5-6 generations of our family just having guns in their mouths.
It's like the Jawbreakers in Ed, and Eddie. The gun barrel is just like pushed all the way to one side, so you can still perfectly articulate with your mouth.
When there's a gun barrel, when there's a barrel of a gun in your mouth, you speak only in vowels, according to Fight Club. Yeah. So work story really quick. There is an ongoing investigation at my job of who keeps drawing dicks all over the store, and yeah,
is this
I know.
You admitting to it?
No, but I know who's doing it. That's all I'm gonna say. I do know who the culprit is. And you know what? If you want that information, $10,000. That's all it takes.
Well, that's your impetus to unionize. You're like, this information will come out once we get everything that we're asking for.
It's our Watergate, okay? Like right now, this is our fucking Watergate, and it's crazy. Yeah. So that's just a wild thing that's happening in my life right now.
Do we have a one more Ask Robert, you said?
Yeah, I got another one. This one, it should be. So, what would be the first store you loot during a zombie apocalypse? And I'm going to broaden that and just say, like, any kind of apocalyptic or, like, government dissolving situation. Like, what's the first place you would loot?
If it was specifically a zombie apocalypse, I would go to something like a Costco or a Sam's Club, because then you have that possibility of I could hole up in here for years and potentially
you're gonna run into
safe.
a lot of people. You're gonna run into a lot of people. It's gonna be a fight.
But if it's just any apocalyptic situation, I don't know. That's tricky. The first store I would loot, I'd probably go to like a used bookstore and then barricade the windows and doors because no one would ever think
you're bad
at get me.
You're bad. You have to loot it. You're like making it your home.
I would loot it. I would get like think about all the knowledge that I would get looting all those used books.
So you're not understanding the fucking question clearly.
I would be able to barricade. I would think about all those books that I could use to block the exits and entrances. And what fucking who else would try to loot that store? I would be.
That's the only cogent point you're making is that no one else is. You're not gonna have to fight a single person.
I have a monopoly on looting used bookstores.
While all you people are fighting in the streets, I'm gonna be cleaning up these sheets of paper in my new fucking used bookstore.
You saw how quickly we devolved into a toilet paper shortage. Think about all the toilet paper for the books that I don't want to use.
You're gonna get paper cuts.
It's so funny to think about in hindsight. It's like everyone was like, What if
Yeah.
we run out of stuff to wipe our asses
Yeah,
with?
what if this airborne disease that does not live long on surfaces, that we can only get from being in close proximity to one another, what if we can't wipe our fucking asses anymore?
all the videos of like people crying, holding up a white towel on their way to the bathroom. Shame on you. Okay, like there's a lot of them.
Yeah.
There's a lot of those videos. There's one of a woman in Walmart crying because she had to go to like the bath towel section because there was no toilet paper. It's like, all right, why don't you just get in the shower? Like we're all stuck at home anyway. Just don't wipe. Just let it cake up. Eventually,
home,
you'll build a tolerance to it.
There's bidets that you can buy on Amazon that hook up to your regular toilet for like $40.
Exactly.
Yeah.
This was a moment for America to like, revolutionize and kind of take a step into the future. And everyone was like, "Oh no, I can't rub the paper against my butthole."
It is like we're all babies. Like,
Yeah.
really.
Yeah.
But I think the most practical things would be like, grocery store or gun store. But my answer, I'm going to Taco Bell.
Yes.
To get a bunch of beans and beef and cheese.
That's the move. That's the move right there.
I'm gonna barricade.
I'm gonna barricade a wall of beans and cheese on every door and window. Yeah.
A wall of Doritos. You tape Doritos Locos Tacos to the windows so people can't see it.
Like, just not even like the packaging. He just has made like whole Doritos Locos Tacos and is like duct taping them to the window.
Because you have everything in there. You have food and you have weapons. You have the sour cream
gun.
caulking gun.
The sour cream gun.
Blow people's heads off with that.
Yeah, there's a corner store that a nice Chinese family owns down the street. That's probably where I'd go first.
That's where I would take that shit from.
I'm a very valued customer. I'm in there all the time, and I've had the thought where I was like, oh yeah, like you guys are very nice, and I really appreciate the way you treat me, but I would fucking destroy your life in the event of an apocalypse. I would take everything from you.
Like, how is everything today? You're like, it's good. You guys would be easy to take everything away from.
No, I'm imagining like Rob is just going to. It's like what, like a convenience store.
It's like a little corner deli market thing.
Okay, so then Rob goes down there and is like, "Hey, can I get some fucking turkey lunch meat? I want to do turkey sandwiches this week." And they're like, as they're slicing it, like the news comes on where it's like Russia has launched a nuke at every major city on the East Coast. We only have 5 minutes to seek shelter. And then Rob just hops the counter and starts beating them up.
Just grabbing everything I can.
Italy is like fourth on that list, like of cities Russia wants to get nukes on. Pretty scary.
Yeah, I would take my gun and my cats and barricade in the Mulberry Market.
Oh.
Well, have fun.
I guess
being chilling with your cats while I got my mountains of infinite knowledge.
You're just not gonna last very long at all. You're gonna be surviving on like fucking raisins or mints or something. Like there's no food in a bookstore.
Well, okay, fine then. I'll go.
I'm gonna have months of rancid deli meat.
I'll go to Barnes and Noble and then I'll have a Starbucks built inside of it.
Yeah, there you go. That's the move.
all the time. Damn.
No one would loot a Barnes and Noble.
Never.
I think you're right. I think Barnes and Noble is a sleeper. Like I think a lot of people would overlook the Barnes and Noble. Man,
honestly, I feel like
for being like I would go loot a bookstore.
But then knowing my luck,
I'm get really smart during the apocalypse.
But then knowing my luck, I would pick a bookstore where the guy who wrote the sleep experiment is like doing a signing that day, and then I'm trapped there with him.
By the way, that book is like critics gave it good reviews.
Yeah, critics gave it good
No,
reviews.
no. The author writing under pseudonyms gave it good reviews. Like,
I
it's
believe
not
that, yeah.
real critics.
Well, anyway,
Go
I
listen
guess
to the last episode if you want to know more about that.
Yeah, and
Or don't.
this has been another episode
Yeah.
of the Buttery Mills. So take that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
take
you.
that as you will.
We have any
Um,
plugs, fellas?
Watch this podcast. We'll come back eventually. Have a few guests booked. We're gonna start recording episodes very soon. I feel like I say that every single week, but
Yeah, you do.
as long as I don't give that, as long as I don't say a specific date, you can't.
Eventually, it'll be
Yeah.
true. Like, that's the thing.
Yeah.
Like, you could ride this out for years
Yeah,
and it not
exactly.
be wrong.
Jacob was a prophet.
Yeah.
This thing he had total control over, it finally happened.
Yeah.
He kept saying it would. Crazy.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
that's
nothing
all
to
I
plug.
got.
Check out the Instagram. Check out the Buttery Mails Pod Instagram. Check us out on Twitter. I think it's also Buttery Mails Pod. Check out the Spotify. Check out the YouTube. We do face cams now. Check out my personal Instagram. Check out check out I don't know. Check out some books from your local library. Keep the library going. I don't really know how library funding works. And make sure you tell a friend about us. As per always, we are not charging you money. We do this really for ourselves, I guess. But if you think this episode was funny, or you have an episode that you really like, that you thought was really funny or insightful or whatever, just shoot it over to a friend. You don't have to pitch it. You don't have to, like, fucking berate them into listening. Just send it over to a friend, see if they like it, you know. Might give you something to have a conversation about. Or maybe they'll never talk to you again. I don't fucking know.
It's 50-50
Usually-
at this point.
Yeah, it's 50-50. Normally when I send the podcast to people, I just never hear from them again. But yeah, I think that about rounds it out.
Well, hold on. And if you
oh.
have a podcast or some sort of creative project that's able to be rated, rate us 5 stars, and we will do the same back to your creative endeavor.
Yes.
Hell yeah.
Which also means we'll be listening to. We have to listen to like 3 of your episodes, so it's a win-win.
Or a second of one of your episodes.
We are, we're good people, so.
We're
all
really
have
nice
good
people.
We all have, as we've said many a time, we all have great personalities, and we're all getting into heaven. Except
Yep.
for Rob, who is living in his personal hell right now.
Pretty sure.
Good
Pretty
man.
sure. I have a therapist appointment tomorrow, and I'm going to explain that concept to her. I think finally. See what she says. Alrighty.
Well, tune in next
have a
week
great-
if you want to hear how that went.
Yeah. Actually, maybe we'll start doing like every week. We do like a recap of Rob's therapy
corner.
session.
Yeah. It replaces Rob's Taliban
God.
corner, Rob's therapy corner.
Yeah, she was really speechless this week. Alrighty, guys.
See ya, everyone.
Alright.
Have a good night, morning,
Good
wherever
night.
the fuck you are.
Bye.